that's for Jamaica. Seek shelter now. Damaging winds and heavy rainfall today and on Monday will cause catastrophic and life-threatening flash flooding and numerous landslides before the strongest winds arrive tomorrow night and Tuesday morning. Extensive infrastructural damage, long-duration power and communication outages, and isolation of communities are expected. That means some communities might be cut off. You know, we're kind of used to that too when we have hurricanes. Remember with Gilbert, it take we long for fine with friends them and with families and so on. So we're kind of prepared in our mind for those who went through Gilbert of what is about to come. And Gilbert was catastrophic. Remember that. Let us not forget that. It was. And then also it says life-threatening storm surge is likely along portions of a southern coast on Monday night and Tuesday morning. And then it goes on to say Haiti, catastrophic and life-threatening flash flooding and landslides are expected across southwestern Haiti through midweek, likely causing extensive infrastructural damage and isolation of communities. Although winds are temporarily decreasing on the Tiburon Peninsula, they could increase again across much of Western Haiti on Tuesday. And then for the Dominican Republic, heavy rainfall through midweek could produce catastrophic flash flooding and numerous landslides in southern portions of the country. I mean, they're using that word really, really prolifically, catastrophic and life-threatening and so on and so forth. So it tells me something, having been in this space for over 30 odd years in terms of being in media and covering hurricanes and covering bulletins and reading bulletins and so on. So they don't usually throw around catastrophic and life-threatening and, you know, so often. And so it tells you what is likely to happen. Let's take care, please. They're saying monitor Melissa closely. There is an increasing risk of a significant storm surge, damaging winds and heavy rainfall by the middle of the week. In eastern Cuba, the risk of life-threatening flash flooding and landslides is increasing. A hurricane watch is in effect for portions of eastern Cuba. So just to go back to Jamaica, from the Hurricane Center, advisory issued at 5 a.m. Seek shelter now in Jamaica. Damaging winds and heavy rainfall today and on Monday will cause catastrophic and life-threatening flash flooding and numerous landslides before the strongest winds arrive tomorrow night, that's Monday night, and Tuesday morning. Extensive infrastructural damage, long-duration power and communication outages, and so we expect the light to go, we expect the internet and the Wi-Fi to go, and isolation of communities are expected. Life-threatening storm surge is likely along portions of the southern coast Monday night and Tuesday morning. So reach out to your family and your friends while you can. Make sure everybody's okay and put in place what the communication strategy will be, what your plans are. Let's have, again, we're doing two things this morning. We're talking about the geoclimatic situation and the geopolitical situation. So we have Donald Trump, on the other hand, saying that we're going to kill them. That is, they are sending warships and warplanes, and they have sent an armada into the Caribbean. And when asked whether or not he would declare war, because you're sending all these warships and these submarines and this armada, and you have the Secretary of War commanding the U.S. Gerald Ford, the biggest warship, if not arguably the biggest warship in the entire world. And when asked, will you declare war? Will you go to Congress and declare war? You say you don't have to go to Congress. Congress is not going to say no anyway. And we are going to kill them. And then we have Trinidad and Tobago leader praising the strikes and saying that the U.S. should kill all drug traffickers violently. That is without trial, without finding out if these people are fisher folk. If they you don't need to find out if we just bomb them, kill them all, and kill them violently. It is a dangerous game indeed. We're paying attention. We're paying very, very close attention to that. We have to pay attention. Cannot take our eyes off this, because this is going to affect us. Trinidad, the Prime Minister of Trinidad has come out and said, on the back of CARICOM, you have 10 CARICOM leaders who have now published a letter and have others signing it. I think they have 11 signing it now, saying the Caribbean is a zone of peace and it should remain that way and so on. I'm not saying what they did was wrong. I'm saying, yes, send the letter out. But the Caribbean has never been a zone of peace. And all of those who have signed that letter, I don't know if you make it better or you make it worse. But as far as I am concerned, you have all participated in events and activities under your watch that makes it clear as day that, if anything, the zone of peace is aspirational. It is political. It is not real. All right, and we'll talk about that later on. I know there's a little conflict going on with me, because we have a geopolitical storm and we have a geoclimatic storm. And both are happening at the same time. And I cannot stand in my space truthfully, regardless of what's going to happen to Jamaica, with a storm that sitting out in the water for nearly 3 weeks, in a harp-like fashion. At the same time, all these massive warships coming into the region. So while we say to our people, protect yourself, go into the shelters, batten down, and we're telling our people to do a lot of things that a lot of us don't have the money to do. Stock up on food. Where we'll get the money from? The bank them close, them say use ATM. The ATM them now work, no money in it, long lines. So here is our situation. The reality is what we're not talking about. But I want to say to you this morning, family, whatever you can do to protect yourself from Hurricane Melissa, do it. Whatever you can do, because this is a storm that is coming. Let us say we are not even paying attention to the category, to the wind speed. Them things, and we're not paying no attention, and we don't care about that. Let us say, for argument's sake, one thing we know is going to happen, a lot of rainfall. And you know that when rain falls in Jamaica, we flood out. We have landslide. We have communities cut off. So remember that if you don't remember anything else. We house flood out. And let's take care. Let us take care, please. And then at the same time, those of us who can, whether you're in the Caribbean or out of the Caribbean, and we're going to have to rely heavily on our brothers and sisters who are not in the Caribbean, not in Jamaica right now, Jamaica, Cuba, Haiti, or the Dominican Republic, in this region where Melissa is threatening, to pay attention and to speak up and to speak out about the geopolitical storm, which is a war that the United States is waging in the Caribbean waters. And the build-up in the armada, the intensification, the urgency. Your phone lines. Greetings.
Greetings, Carbo.
Greetings, my brother. Where are you calling from?
Hagley Park Road.
Off Hagley Park Road. How things?
Well, it's raining now, but not it's really on and off, but it's raining now. Mm-hmm. Not hard still, but we will survive. But
of course.
My few questions, Carbo, is that I thought this rain would have hit us from Wednesday, actually Thursday. Why are these people giving us false information, having us all over the place, spending and creating cash in the country? These people don't know to we do whatever they're supposed to be reading. And it's just a money-making thing. We don't have the money, Carver, as what you said.
Right. This is so unfortunate that the forecast. I doubt that they could have done much better in terms of giving in the forecast, because one of the things that happened that is quite unusual is how long the storm sit down so, and didn't move, and then it was going at 3 miles per hour, and then it go down to 1 mile per hour. So that I know that they're human too, and they're using AI and everything, and still the forecast has been what it has been. So I understand what you're saying, because I know people went shopping for the hurricane already. So you use up the little way you have.
Thank you, Carbo. Right.
Yes, and then here we are now, which is it is really, really, really an unfair situation. But
and these government ministers coming with them platitude, with them food. You can't have people. I mean, we are human beings, yes, but good God, man, from Wednesday evening, Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday.
Yes,
Saturday,
yes.
And we're looking at the fact that we don't have the billions of dollars like them. We can make one go and get $10 million, put in the pocket, and $100 million for them girlfriend, and them live uptown, Pandila, half away.
Yes.
People don't have the money. Our little 2 pence can't work.
It's true. It is true.
Go to the US briefly.
Yes.
Carbo, do you?
Let me just say something, because we'll work. It's just two of us working this morning, and it's kind of difficult. So let me just enough things I have to say on the mic. So to the telephone operator who's working with me right now, and I don't even know if them changed shift yet because I'm not seeing them. Send me one call at a time, please, because I can't take two at a time. So and we're getting, and it's creating a disturbance on air. So we're hearing that. So if you send me one at a time, we're better off. Yes, go ahead, my brother.
Brief, Carbo. Do you think anybody from the Caribbean could have got to US with them ship or boat, and so we're stopping all of the guns from coming into our country? Do you think we could have done that? Why are these people just shooting down or blowing up boats without no trial? And we, as lucky, just sit down. If it can't be to people or it can't be to us, one to our fisherman, we couldn't do that to US. Carbo, I never hear of any Jamaican government ask the United States government for an extradition of any of them man who work at the port where these guns are coming from. I would know it will come from US. We send we scam them up there, scan to them. We send with drugs, man, I scan to them. And I never hear whether PJ Patterson or Bruce Woolen or Andrew Willis ask US to listen. A set of guns come from a country where proof, can you send these ABC people that work so we can try them? Why are US behaving like they are God? And we sit down like that kind of talk.
It is because
Israel and Russia.
Yeah, there is a
US don't have friends there that have interest. It affect them now. You can't do that.
Yeah.
But because you're big and mighty, and they only do it to weak country, just like the police them out here, just a killer off get the people because them have no power.
Yeah, it is long, and we have a lot of calls. But all the best. Let us know and how you're riding through the storm, and we talk on the other side of the storm. Hopefully by Sunday we can come back and hear from you again how you manage. But keep safe, my brother. Look out for your neighbor.
I will, yeah, man.
And
yes. Big up to the General Motor.
Give thanks. The phone lines. Hello, good morning. Hello.
I would like to talk to Cabo.
This is Cabo. You're live on air. Greetings.
Hi, good morning, Cabo. How are you this morning?
I am well, if you two are well.
Yeah, man, I'm good up in the Blue Mountain here in the Ethiopian class, listening to the Ethiopian teacher, miss.
Oh, goodness gracious, up in the Blue Mountains.
Yeah, place them farm studying at the Mavis Bank here, right?
Yes, all the coffee them.
Well, the coffee them look good and thing, you know.
Mm-hmm. So rain falling there now?
Well, rain not stop fall here for a good while now. But it not fall heavy, but you can only place properly wet.
Mm-hmm. So you expect landslide?
Well, up here a landslide here, you know, from Papine come up to Garden Town, right back to Mavis Bank, St. Peter's, Content Gap. You could have named it up here as a landslide here up here, you know.
So, how you stay? You and your neighbors?
Well, everyone good up here right now, you know.
Mm-hmm. So you look, the most you expect is that the community might be cut off with a landslide, but everybody okay?
Yeah, only the landslide. No, if it's our cut off, we know say it's our cut off, because up in the mountain, you know.
It's all cut
When
off.
the government says to do after this, that they have some tractors, 50 years to clean up the road from Garden Town back to Mavis Bank in the mountain here, you know.
Yeah, because this happen all the time.
Yeah, man, long as rain come heavy. Landslide, land slippage line come down, you know, because it's up in the mountain, you know.
Yeah, but you listen closely to the weather report though, that it look like this hurricane going to come with some serious breeze and heavier rain than we used to, which means it might be a little bit worse. So have they said anything to you? Them telling you for evacuate, or them telling you for go shelter? What's the situation?
No, them people up here no need to evacuate, you know.
Okay.
Because you see after Gilbert, them people up here no buy zinc again, you know.
What am I?
No slab top house, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing up here now, you have a landslide. Especially on the road, you know?
I know about those landslides, and I know that sometimes them can be really, really, really bad, and it take days and days and days to clear up. But keep safe, and on the other side of this, hopefully we'll be able to talk next week. Let me hear back from you next week, and look out for your neighbors.
Yeah, man.
Your food?
Up here, people are short of food, you know, Miss Mark.
All right, so no did reap the food.
Yeah, Blue Mountain people are short of food, because when I buy food, is coming like said I'm going to open shop, and I don't ordinary grocery never buy.
All right, well, at least you give me a good
man,
luck.
I hear up to your favorite listener, Pat and Sophia Mark, you know, Pat and Sophia Mark. They not stop play Irish.
Greetings, Pat. Greetings, Sophia. And to you, my brother. Take care of the family.
Yeah, Yellow Mark too. Yellow
Mark. Yes. Yes. Greetings, Mark.
All the Guavard people that you keep safe. At least the whole people in Jamaica will try to keep themselves safe.
After all, give thanks,
and
my brother.
And the one thing we wish that this storm could have catch truck boat over here and sink it.
I'm telling you. Get ready to put these emergency numbers in. You don't know when you might need an emergency number, because according to what they're telling us, this looks serious. So take the emergency numbers. Let me give you some time to get your pen and your paper or your phone for put this in. Write it down, because we don't know the phone thing all go. The last entry from ODPEM on their social media site, X and so on, is 11 hours ago, right? Just so you know. And they met, I'm not quite sure about what's happening with the Med-Service social media, but it's quite interesting what's happening over there. The National Hurricane Center in the U.S., though, they have been updating almost every hour. And their last update was 36 minutes ago, where they say Hurricane Melissa Advisory 20A, and let me get this. So the National Hurricane Center, so hurricane hunters are sampling Melissa, and they continue to say life-threatening and catastrophic flash flooding and landslides are expected in portions of Jamaica and southern Hispaniola through to midweek. So that's just 36 minutes ago from the National Hurricane Center. Life-threatening and catastrophic flash flooding and landslides expected in portions of Jamaica today. Obviously, we told you earlier that Melissa is now a Category 4 hurricane with 140 miles per hour winds. Parts of Jamaica already experiencing heavy winds, and heavy rain conditions will get much worse through tonight into tomorrow and Tuesday. All right, so now for the emergency numbers. The National Emergency Operations Center, ODPEM, the numbers are 888-225-5637. That's 888-225-5637. That is toll free. 888-225-5637. 5637. And the straight line is 876-906-7668. That's 876-906-7668. That's a straight line. For persons with disabilities, the number to call is 876-230-0588. For persons with disabilities, the number to call 876-230-0588. And if you have donations, you can also call OddPEM. And the numbers for those donations, for those with donations, 658-219-1474. 658-219-1474. Or 658-218-1476. That's 658-218-1476. Hope you have your hurricane supply kit. Check your hurricane supply kit. Make sure you have for emergency. You've got your flashlight. You've got your extra batteries. You don't know about like battery finishing at Ochi, but you can still check because battery there at Ochi. Look at battery there, you don't know. You never check. All right. So well, but check your emergency kit. So OddPEM is reminding us that the hurricane kit should include for your emergency flashlight, extra batteries, battery operated radio or lantern, clock. Well, there you go. Extra blankets, tent if you have it, battery operated fans, matches, hand sanitizer, first aid, band-aid, peroxide, bug spray, female hygiene things, remember, so you're going to need your pads and them thing, shampoo, soap. If you have your prescriptions, make sure you have your prescriptions, those to refill, and those where you have where you're not fill yet, fill them. Medication for children and for adults that are needed, that you might need. First aid kit, generally food. And if you have a can where you know, so you're going to need a manual can opener. If you know your knife can't open that. Make sure you have enough water for a few days, 3 to 5 to 7 days for each person, if you can. Non-perishable food items, canned foods, vitamins if you got those. Disposable plates might be a good idea, and disposable utensils and napkins and so on. And if you have pets, don't forget your pets. Oh, I have to take a break. But don't forget your pets, what you might need for your pets. Because sometimes we buy water for ourselves, and I remember if we store water for our pets, and dry pet food, and so on and so forth. Don't forget your pets, remember, because sometimes we can't do that. And check for your toilet paper, of course, your garbage bags, Ziploc bags, utility gloves, where you're going to need for clean up, umbrella. Make sure you have your phone charger upon you, and, where you call it something like a cloak, raincoat, and so on. And all of your documents, your ID, your passport, if you have a will where you did right, insurance, paperwork, land title, medical cards, vaccination records, all of those. Make sure you have them in Ziploc or plastic. All right. Our favorable operations will resume when conditions are favorable. Please monitor weather updates and follow all safety guidelines. For urgent banking needs, please use the NCB mobile app, online banking, or ABMs where possible. Stay safe. Right, so OddPEM has posted its latest bulletin number 35. Okay, so just going to check myself in the studio. sometimes we have to turn everything down to facilitate a conversation because things are moving really fast inside the studio. Information coming from all across the region, but also from all across Jamaica. And in a while, we'll go back to the phone lines. Let me quickly tell you the numbers before we go to OddPEM and the latest bulletin. So 876-618-0352, 876-618-0352. That takes you to all the numbers, So if you do 974-5051, 974-5043, 974-5079, it's the same thing. So I would suggest you do 876-618-0352, and so it takes you to the entire system. In the meantime, let's get to OddPEM. Let's get to OddPEM because OddPEM has now put out its latest bulletin. Let me go here and do this. Right, from the Met Service Jamaica. And Melissa, now a Category 4 hurricane, so we've been telling you that all morning. And a hurricane warning remains in effect for Jamaica. A hurricane warning remains in effect for Jamaica as Melissa has further strengthened into a Category 4 hurricane on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale. At 4 a.m., the center of Hurricane Melissa was located near latitude 16.3 degrees north, longitude 76.3 degrees west. This is about 178 kilometers or 111 miles southeast of Morant Point, or 195 kilometers or 120 miles southeast of Kingston, Jamaica. This thing is barely moving. Melissa is moving slowly toward the west near 7 kilometers per hour or 5 miles per hour. A slow westward motion is expected today. A slow westward motion is expected today, followed by a turn to the north and northeast on Monday and Tuesday. On the forecast track, the center of Melissa is expected to move closer to Jamaica during the weekend and over the island on Tuesday. So this is the latest bulletin. It's October 26th, but it is a rehash because today is the first day of the week and it is saying during the weekend. So the Met Office has to do better than this because people are watching this very closely. So you really have to do better than this. And OddPEM we need an editor. We need an editor at the Met Office and we need an editor at OddPEM. We cannot play with these things. People's lives are at risk. You say it is life-threatening. You say it is going to be catastrophic. You talk about communities, communication, and all of that cut off. And then you're putting out a bulletin and calling it bulletin number 35, but it's not properly edited. All right. So basically, it says Hurricane Melissa is expected to produce rainfall amounts reaching 350 to 700 millimeters. That's 15 to 30 inches over parts of Jamaica in the next few days, with higher amounts over hilly terrain. Catastrophic flash floods and landslides are likely. As the hurricane moves closer, tropical storm force winds are expected to spread from southeastern sections of Jamaica this morning to northwest. Hurricane conditions are expected by tomorrow. Life-threatening storm surge is likely along the south coast of Jamaica late tomorrow through Tuesday morning and could reach 9 to 13 feet above ground level near and to the east of where the center of Melissa makes landfall. This storm surge will be accompanied by large and destructive waves. Small craft operators, including fishers on the Keys and Banks, are strongly advised to remain in safe harbor until all warning messages have been lifted and wind and sea conditions have returned to normal. The Meteorological Service continues to closely monitor the progress of Hurricane Melissa, and all interests are encouraged to pay special attention to further releases. The next bulletin on the system will be issued at 8 o'clock today, so that's in half an hour time. I hope they would have edited by then. It's not, this is not time for unprofessionalism. This is all I'm saying. There's so many people who are glued to their radios, who are glued to the social media, who want the information. And so we have to ensure that at least, even if it's not new, edit the thing properly so that we know what we're dealing with. Because once there is a mistake, then the whole thing is almost, a mistake. All right, let me take a break. This morning, we're facing a geoclimatic front and a geopolitical front. We're facing a catastrophic and life-threatening geoclimatic hurricane Melissa, which is, according to all forecasts right now, threatening to decimate Jamaica. Seek shelter, they say. Lives will be at stake. Landslides, communities cut off, communication cut off. And we're listening closely and we're paying attention. Stock up on what you can stock up on. Batten down the best you can batten down. And use the sandbags if you think you're going to get flooded out. Look out for your neighbor. Roofs, they say, will literally be behaving in the same way that Gilbert behaved, which is a lot of us lost our roofs during Gilbert, and they're telling us this time around it will be a very similar situation. So if it continues on the current trajectory. We've been telling you all morning that Melissa is cutting a deadly path through the Caribbean. The Observer is reporting that now. Today, strengthening into a Category 4. When we came on at 6 o'clock this morning, Melissa was already a Category 4 storm. And it is going very slowly as it makes its way up to Jamaica and is expected to cross over Jamaica. So there are other nations impacted: Haiti, Dominican Republic, Hispaniola generally, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Cuba, and there are discussions of Cayman, but I'm not quite sure what the latest is on Cayman. So this is the geoclimatic storm that we're facing. It's already raining in many places across Jamaica. So I'm getting your texts, I'm getting your messages, and also your photographs, your pictures that you're taking of what's happening in your area. So we have some areas where trees are already blown down and where branches... As a matter of fact, when I was coming to work this morning, I saw evidence of this where a lot of branches blown off trees and just not necessarily in the road, but threatening to be in the road, a lot of water. So we actually went through that this morning, and that was at about 5:15, 5:30, thereabouts. So we know what's happening in parts of Jamaica, especially for us or on this side of the island. So the eastern side of the island, northeastern, and obviously we're in the north now because we're in Ocho Rios. So we're seeing that rain. We're seeing that rainfall, heavy rainfall, and also heavy winds. Last night, I can tell you my own personal experience. The winds howled all night. So we found ourselves in our house pushing things against door because me laughing about me take my sit make laugh. So it kinted keep my heartburn because the way how the thing I go, it come like say, if there is a real, like the next heavy gust, would I blow down something? So yeah, we're already going through some of this, and it's not even where they say the catastrophic winds will, decimate Jamaica. So we are in the middle of all of this, even while we're talking. This is an ongoing situation. And the hurricane is still moving very, very slowly. We have a geopolitical storm, which is to say that the United States has been building up a military armada in the Caribbean waters for the last 4 or so weeks. We've been on this topic on the Africa Forum for at least 8 months, right? With my brother Darius Figuera, looking at transatlantic or transnational criminal activity in the Caribbean and the United States. So we've been kind of going through this with a fine-tooth comb, and wasn't really surprised when we heard that this was a pretext that was used for the incursion, for the American incursion in the Caribbean waters. We have already shown that it is without basis, it is without foundation, it is without rhyme or reason. And yet they're telling us that they're fighting transnational organized crime, drug trafficking in particular, in the Caribbean. So that is a geopolitical storm. And then we have also heard that arguably the largest warship in the Caribbean, in the world, that Donald Trump has sent that into the Caribbean, that's on its way to the Caribbean, through the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. We're paying attention to and recalling that just 3 weeks ago, we're in October now, so it's towards the end of September, China sent its medical ship with medical personnel into the Caribbean. And we are also recalling that just a few months before that, or weeks before that, Russia sent its submarine on an exhibition tour through the Caribbean, park it up in Cuba. So what we're seeing happening in the Caribbean is a prognostication. We can take it lightly, or we can do like the Caribbean leaders and write a letter, say it is a zone of peace, or do like Trinidad and say kill them all and kill them violently, or do like Donald Trump and just say we're not going to declare no war, we just go in and kill, or do like CARICOM and just remain silent, or give a little wishy-washy statement that CARICOM is a Caribbean water, this is a zone of peace. This response of Caribbean leaders and CARICOM using this term as zone of peace is a betrayal to the people of the Caribbean. It's a cop-out, up-out, smoke and mirror betrayal. They are pretending to be doing something while in essence they're not doing jack. So yes, write your letter. Let me take a break. Comes in. We also have a list of the shelters. We'll tell you the shelters in a little while. But we've got a geopolitical storm that is just as dangerous, if not more, to the entire CARICOM and to Caribbean Sea and CARICOM people and Caribbean people, and to our very sovereignty that we cannot afford to lose sight of any. So we saw a joint statement from a number of former Caribbean prime ministers, including P.J. Patterson and Bruce Golding, and they're expressing alarm at what they say is the increased U.S. military buildup, nuclear vessels, aircraft, and recent strikes on vessels in the Caribbean. Better late than never, and they're urging a recommitment to the region's self-declared status as a zone of peace. The former Caribbean leaders highlighted the region's legal and rhetorical commitment to dispute resolution through international law and dialogue, and name the ship-rider counter-drug arrangements as an immediate matter of concern for sovereignty and operational risk. I'm going to go to the phone lines and come back because I want to take that on. All right, let me go to the phone lines. Greetings.
Hello, good morning.
Hey, greetings. Where are you calling from?
Westmoreland.
How things in Westmoreland?
Hartford. Hartford.
I said, I didn't hear that, sorry.
Hartford.
Goodness. I don't know why I'm not hearing the word. My bad. I'm so sorry. Is it raining or not? Is it clear or?
It's sunny.
It's sunny. Okay. Yeah, so we hear that. So is that like a calm before the storm, eh?
Yes.
Wow. How you stay with getting things together, stocking up, make sure you have water, food.
Yeah, I secure everything already.
Okay. Where in Westmoreland are you exactly?
Hartford this morning.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Okay. All right. All right. So what's on your mind? Go ahead. Tell me. All right. You there? I'm not so sure what happened there. From West, heard from someone in Montego Bay also. So we're getting that from West. And we're hearing all the forecasters and all the weather people and all the technicians and the technical people saying, so this is what is going to happen. So you're waking up this morning to sunshine in some areas and you're saying, where is this hurricane? And you are in a false sense of security because you're not seeing any rain, you're not getting the wind, and you're literally getting sunshine. So basically what they have said to us and continue to say is that this is exactly what is expected, and that by Monday into Tuesday, because of the size of the hurricane, once it makes contact, once it makes landfall, that the extensiveness of the reach, the width, that it will be felt across this. So I'm wondering, this is why I say it is smoke and mirrors, and it is not the kind of response that will garner any attention from the United States. They probably just treat that like cockroach under them shoes, which is to quash it. So when we have these seemingly intelligent people, Caribbean former prime ministers, yes, the unity, they look good, but it doesn't even give credence to CARICOM, because we have the current CARICOM leaders at loggerheads as to where to go and how to go, what to do, what to say. Jamaica heads up CARICOM right now, and Jamaica is floundering on this. But Jamaica has done enough for us to know where Jamaica stand. We need to listen to the Prime Minister's speech at the United Nations. We need to look again. Remember that when we saw the change of ambassadors to Washington, I said in this space, and I still maintain that we have sent a military man into Washington. And that tells us what time of day it was and is and still does. And then we talk about the militarization of government, of the Jamaican government. If you look at the boards and look in the Prime Minister's office and look around the Prime Minister and look around, the militarization. We spend a lot of time talking about what's happening in the United States and what's happening with Donald Trump and the Secretary of War and the Department of War. And we're not looking, even the Bible tells we, so we must pick out something out of our eye before we go pick it out of somebody else's eye. We're doing the very same thing on this island. Militarization of government. And remember that one of the recurring themes and topics of discussion in this program from the early 1990s is the militarization of the Caribbean waters. And you know that Africa South come, you come, them come, and everybody come. It's all a militarization of the spaces. When they had that massive military meeting in Trinidad, remember, we don't know what them sign off on, we don't know what them say, we don't know how them say. We sent in letters and we sent in requests and we made telephone calls, access to information, and we still don't know what decisions they took in Trinidad. Now them want come tell we about the Caribbean as a zone of peace. Go with that. Our reality and what we experience and what we have experienced and continue to experience tells us that the Caribbean has never been a zone of peace. And you cannot gaslight with that term. This is gaslighting at its highest. The Caribbean, you say the Caribbean is a zone of peace, you know, have it written down on one piece of paper when you say a CARICOM, and then you're acting totally outside of that for so long, and all of a sudden you want to come through it in the space. It is not a disruptor, not disruptive, it don't do nothing. It just make you all look like narcissists, because this is gaslighting. And you cannot gaslight the Caribbean people. So America knows, the United States knows, Donald Trump knows, when you see this letter coming from the Caribbean, they know immediately. The CIA, everybody knows that this, you know, they have to do it. Allow them have to do it. And the people don't know because them keep them purposefully keep a flood-prone area. Then these are the shelters. So if you are in St. James, the shelters, the Open Heart Charitable Organization. And so what I'm going to do is give you the names of the shelters and also give you the telephone numbers. All right. So listen out for your parish and see what do you recognize and where, and then take that number just in case. Remember, we are being told that this is going to be catastrophic. Right now, it no land yet. You don't know if you're going to need the shelter or if you're going to need the number. So, and if you know that you need to go to a shelter, you can also call this number if you haven't moved yet, because I know that there are issues with people going into shelters. Port Royal. If you're in Port Royal, remember that you need to get to a shelter, all right? So St. James Open Heart Charitable Organization, and this is at 2A Lawrence Lane, Montego Bay, and the number is 876-456-8585. 8585. So 876-456-8585. Then there's also the St. James Care Center. This is at, all right, it is at 2A Lawrence Lane, so it's not the same place, but the number is 876-971-9097. 876-971-9097. I'm going to do Clarendon next. Stand by for that. The shelter, the Clarendon Drop-In Center and Night Shelter, East Street, Denbigh, 876-902-5050. 876-902-5050. And this information that I'm giving to you, I'm taking from OddPem, all right? In Westmoreland, the Westmoreland Drop-In Center at Dunbar's River, Savannah Lamar, 876-955-2654. 876-955-2654. So what you have to do with me now is listen closely, and as soon as you hear your parish call, then grab your pen and your paper and write down the numbers. St. Elizabeth, all right, phone gone black for me, so let me get it back light. All right, so St. Elizabeth Drop-In Center, High Street, Black River, 876-634-3701. That's 876-634-3701. 876-634-3701. St. Elizabeth, and that's High Street, Black River. Manchester, Ebenezer Home Transitional Facility at Grey Ground in Manchester, and the number is 876-853-0448. 876-853-0448. And also in Manchester, Candle in the Dark Drop-In Center, 10 Caledonia Road, Mandeville. Two numbers I'm going to give you for this one in Manchester. 876-961-0167 or 876-632-0800. So 876-961-0167 or 876-632-0800. Just giving you some shelters, all right? St. Mary Drop-In Center, Hodgson Street in Port Maria, and the number is 876-994-2900, 876-994-2900. What I'm doing here is just announcing some of the shelters that I have. There are more, but I'll get that list to you as soon as I can. There are a whole lot more, by the way. And for some, I won't give you the number. I'll just tell you where the shelters are. All right. St. Anne Drop-In Center, Buckfield, St. Anne, 876-994-2900, 876-994-2900. Trelawney Drop-In Center, Victoria Street, Falmouth, 876-954-3970. Hanover Drop-In Center in Hanover, Millers Drive, Lucy, 876-956-2958, 876-956-2958. And in Kingston and St. Andrew, Marie Atkins Drop-In Center and Night Shelter, 6 Hanover Street, downtown Kingston, 876-922-6936-7. The Desmond Mackenzie Transitional Facility for the Homeless. So them have one name after Desmond Mackenzie. Why? Anyway, the Desmond Mackenzie Transitional Facility for the Homeless, King Street, downtown Kingston, 876-922-6936-7. Men's Center, Gibson Avenue, Port Antonio, 876-933-9166, 876-933-9166. Portland Drop-In Center and Night Shelter, 16 West Street, Port Antonio, 876-993-2703, 876-993-2703. And St. Thomas Drop-In Center, Church Corner, Morant Bay, 876-905-7917, 876-905-7917. What a day, what a morning, what a time, what a time. Remember to call your family, call your friends, call your neighbors, look out for each other, do the last minute things that you have to do. Unless it changes course drastically, dramatically, then it seems as if we are, those are the shelters? Those are the shelters? It seems as if we are in for a really, the words they're using, catastrophic and life-threatening. Rain fall outside? Oh, it's just drizzling now? Okay, it did fall out a while ago. Right, so we kind of have enough rain down the other side, yeah? And we have rain at St. Mary too. What you have for me? Look here, we just are going to work, you know, because I just mean, what is? All right, okay, this is, what, a whole shelter? Just St. Thomas? Okay. It's a whole parish. All right, look here. All right. So St. Thomas have a whole lot of shelters. Well, all the parishes have a whole lot of shelters. If we could just find, like a main number, because if you're in Airy Castle or, Barking Lodge or Bath or Bethsaida or Botany, Dalvey, Duckenfield, there are a lot of the primary schools, the churches, so mainly a lot of schools and a lot of churches are being used as shelters, right? Government schools, because we see government schools over this side. And, right, so this is one thing to know. But I'm wondering if there is a main number to call, because I don't even think these are published. Where do we know where people can go to check to see where their shelters are? Yeah, somebody need to tell where. Ask somebody. Desmond Mackenzie. Who else we can ask? Almost any mayor can tell you that. Like, ask Mayor Mayor Wilson or Mayor Belnavis also. Somebody can tell us. Because I don't know how, there's a whole lot of, we know there are a whole lot of shelters, right? And mainly schools are shelters and so on. So if you're in a community, I suppose by now you have an idea. So this school is shelter, that school is shelter. But suppose you don't know. Is there a main line that you can call into to say, I'm in Dalvey in St. Thomas. Where is my shelter? That's the point I'm making. That information I don't have. But what I do have is we know that a lot of the schools, the government schools, are shelters, right? So even if you can't call in, well, I don't want to send nobody to no school, but so anyway, somebody probably need to tell us that should you be in an area where it look like something gonna happen, you gotta get out of this, should you just go to a shelter? Okay, so that's a question that we'll try and answer before the morning is out. The bottom line, though, is everything we're seeing right now is telling us that, so the rain's going to pick up later on this evening into tonight. It's raining in a lot of places already. And then into Monday night into Tuesday, right? And persons are still out there just waiting to prey on vulnerable people. A devastating, catastrophic, life-threatening hurricane. We can question just about anything. If we're really going to start questioning stuff, because we're not picking nothing out of we just see everything else apart from our own thing. So I don't want to go down that road this morning, and this is why I'm kind of saying it and pulling back and saying it and pulling back. So let me just leave it for a minute. But the bottom line is that, so this is a situation that's unfolding in the Caribbean, and we've been talking about this for a while, and warning that this was only going to escalate, and calling on CARICOM to say something, do something, raise your hand, do like Bedward, lift your hand and say, I have something to say. But CARICOM and former Caribbean leaders have decided to take an interesting stance, which is to hide under a misnomer, a phrase, a zone of peace. We, without apology, underscore that the Caribbean has never been a zone of peace. Thank you so much, my brother, for sending me this information, Devon. Operation Buccaneer, 1974. Operation Prop Lock, 1995. Shipwrider Agreement, 1997. Operation Frontier, 1999. And I've got quite a bit coming out of the Caribbean itself. It's not just Jamaica. It's that the Caribbean itself has signed on to bilateral agreements and agreements through CARICOM. And we go back to Trinidad, to the meeting in Trinidad. The Caribbean, we did. And, I remember my brother Cecil Gutsmore, because we spent so much time, Cecil and myself, going through that shift from the Caribbean Basin Initiative to the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative and Southcom and the militarization of the Caribbean waters. I mean, Caribbean governments were all over that, all involved in that, but everything pointed to war and not peace. This was never about peace or a zone of peace. This was always about America's right to invade and wage war on anything in the Caribbean. So we were very clear about that. And one of the things we pointed out is that the very same model was being rolled out in Africa. And we saw how that became problematic under Barack Obama, under AFRICOM. So we're not fooled by anything, anytime. We understand the Caribbean has never been a zone of peace. And this is no way to respond to the armada that is building up in the Caribbean waters. No way at all. So Jabem has a beautiful chart, which I'm going to go through later on, in asking if the Caribbean is a zone of peace. The warnings, but also if you know that you're in an area that is flood prone. I know how difficult it is to leave your house, you know. I know that's a decision that's not easy to make, to come out and lock up the door and take up just a little bit of things and your paper and gone into a shelter, but it's about your life at the end of the day. So I know that's a difficult decision, but you have to talk yourself into it. You don't have much time if you know that you're in an area that is prone to flooding and landslide. If you're on the gully bank, if you're on the hillside, if you're caught in the hillside, if you're on the gully bank, and it don't matter where in Jamaica you are, because we're not just talking about, and Jamaica is such a classist country, but we're not just talking about people who are living in the gully banks and people who are living in deep rural Jamaica and living in the urban centers that, you know, the so-called zinc fence areas. We're talking all of Jamaica. The hurricane is not going to discriminate according to class or race. I think maybe how that will happen at some point is how strong your house is. So that's where a serious level of discrimination is going to happen, because at the end of the day, there are so many Jamaicans who are living below the poverty line. So many of us who are living in areas where we're just eking out survival. And so that when you have any little rain, for that matter, you're already flooded out, as opposed to others who are building, you know, massive structures, and not only building massive structures, but redirecting the rivers to build them massive structures. And when we have flood rains, every river find back them path, or at least try. And it makes it worse for the most vulnerable of us. Because here in Jamaica, there is no building, well, we do have building codes, but the enforcement depends on who you can bribe, when you can bribe, and how much you can bribe. So that a lot of people are left even more exposed, more vulnerable because of this level of corruption. And then we have another situation where, you know, them teething the river, and so because them teething the rivers, they are retraining the rivers, they're changing the normal course of the rivers. And when we have a situation like this, rivers know their course and they will find it back. They will find it back. So if you're still on the river course, you expect what you expect. You know, you probably need to find a shelter. But look out for your neighbors, look out for each other. This is critical right now as we get ready. You know, the preparation phase, they tell us, is more or less just a very, very small window right now. You know? But remember to put up your documents. Put them in a plastic. Your passport, all of your paper them, your certificate them when you pass and look at exam them, and your CXC, your A-level exams, and for those who will go university. And sometimes they end up on the walls too, be careful, so they will blow off, pack up your things. And your passport, obviously your IDs, your will, your land title, your insurance document, your car title, you know, and so on and so forth. And don't park your car them under no tree, and, you know, limb the tree before you park the car. If you know, said the tree, you normally park your car outside and tree the right there, so then you can't park your car there, so you have to figure out a way where to park your car. I'm just thinking this through as I go along. And last time we had heavy rains, we saw how many cars really just got washed away, especially in Kingston. So how can we minimize that situation? Well, I don't know. If you have a garage, if your neighbor have a garage, we can lock down. Maybe, you know, see if your neighbor if you can hold another car, or, I don't know. I mean, there's just so much to consider. I tell you, it's a lot to consider. But we're just gonna have to put our shoulders to the wheel, and we're used to hurricanes. It is true. Enough people never got through Gilbert. Some of us were children when Gilbert did come. We barely remember it. But we are resilient people. So on the other side of this, we ride it out today and tomorrow and into Wednesday. And on the other side of this, we get ready. Listen, my brother Richard, you're listening very, very closely, because he said you started telling us what's on the ship and then you stop. Yeah, because it's a whole lot. So the Navy is the U.S. Navy's newest carrier, currently has a full air wing, embarked, and it includes FA-18EF Super Hornet fighters. We can just read the words. We don't even know what they mean. EA to 18G Growler electronic warfare jets. That's what they've sent. That's what Donald Trump is sending to the Caribbean, E2D Hawkeye airborne early warning control planes, C2A Greyhound carrier onboard delivery aircraft, and MH-60 RS Seahawk helicopters. And it talks also about its strike group, which includes Arleigh Burke class destroyers and likely at least one attack submarine. So the point I was making is that pulling the USS Ford from a scheduled deployment is a major development, and this follows an already substantial military buildup in the Caribbean, U.S. naval, air, and other assets in and around the Caribbean. So we have some 10,000 or more U.S. underground personnel in the Caribbean, plus all of this that's coming in now. And you're talking about the need to keep the Caribbean as a zone of peace. Thank you so much, Professor Shep, because Professor Shepherd just she made a point that I think is relevant, and let me just get to that point. I think we pay some attention to this. 1492, the Caribbean has never been a zone of peace, and she talks about greater militarization since 1492, violence against indigenous peoples, against African peoples, against the people of Morant Bay, against IT, and on and on. And she's reminding us to read the history books. Every CXC student who does history, every history major, every Caribbean and U.S. historian know that those who don't learn from history are bound to repeat it. And this is why the call, Prof has been making this call for years and years and years, Professor Vereen Shepherd, and we see that call being supported by the principal of UTEC. And that's a pretty good call, for history, African history to be taught in schools, the universities. I'm going to try and reach out to him once we're on the other side of this hurricane. We're riding out a storm now, so this is what we're dealing with. We know we have a geopolitical storm that we're riding out, but the point Professor Shepherd is making is critical to all of what we've been saying this morning. All right, so I'm going to go. Also, I said my brother Devon Taylor sent me a chart. Is the Caribbean a zone of peace, 1492 to 2025? And interesting chart, because it's kind of set like an organizational chart. It says 1492 Christopher Columbus Taino genocide, and it talks about the Anglo-Dutch Wars of 1652 also to 1674. 1493 Spain establishes the first settlement in Hispaniola. Talks about the 9 Years' War also, and the War of Spanish Succession. Now, we do all of them things here in our history. And the point Professor Shepherd is making, serious point, that too many people do not know their history and our history, while we can be sitting down in the middle of this, talking about the Caribbean as a zone of peace. Students of history and people who live history know that the Caribbean has never been a zone of peace. Then you go to 1898, the Spanish-American War. You also remember you have the War of Jenkins' Ear, it's quite something else. And 1823, the Monroe Doctrine. 1962, the Cuban Missile Crisis. 17, it goes over, okay, so the charges, I'm trying to go right across. But anyway, so we're mixing up dates, but the chart is pretty easy to understand, but because I'm going straight across. And then you talk about Britain capturing Trinidad from Spain in 1797 and all the other wars, and the relevant information, the Spanish-American War of 1898, the Monroe Doctrine in 1823, the Napoleonic Wars of 1803 to 1815, the French Revolutionary Wars 1792 to 1802, the Haitian Revolution 1791 to 1804. And it goes down to talk about the Banana Wars, U.S. intervention in Cuba, Panama, Honduras, Nicaragua, Mexico, Haiti, Dominican Republic, 1898 to 1934. There is a whole lot there. U.S. occupation of Haiti, 1915, it says to 1934, but that's 1915 to now. Cuban Revolution, 1959, Cuban Missile Crisis, 1962, U.S. invasion of Grenada, 1983, the Cold War interventions, 1934 to 1991, U.S. intervention in Haiti, 1994, U.S. intervention in Haiti, 2004, the military operation in Haiti, 2025, the Ship Rider Agreement, U.S. military operation in the Caribbean, 2025, and we could go on and on and on and on. I have written a letter to the editor of the Gleaner and the Observer about this, laying this out, that Jamaica, that Caribbean has never been a zone of peace. I don't know if they'll publish it. But, I wrote to both of them. Let's see if they publish. If they don't publish, neither here nor there. But the point is that here we are, and this is a distraction. At the least, it's a distraction. To come out 10, 11, 12 of you talking about protecting the zone of peace. It has never been a zone of peace. Never. Must have been before the Osteoids. And even then, we're not so sure. But definitely, for the entire Caribbean, we have been fighting for our lives in these Caribbean waters. We haven't even properly atoned for the souls on the ocean floors of the Caribbean. We're talking about zone of peace. They have sent a note to the people of Jamaica, the One Nation Reggae Festival, through the consular representative, the Consular General or Consular Rep, Rosalie Hamilton, Professor Rosalie Hamilton, on the island here, standing with our Jamaican and Caribbean family as Hurricane Melissa strikes. We send love, courage, and prayers from Sierra Leone, and that's coming from the Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs in Sierra Leone. Good morning to you, my sister, Marcia Palmer. How you doing, my sister? Always making some serious points. We are always, more 99.9% of the times, on the very same wavelength, vibrating on the very same frequency. She says, watch man, watch woman, what of the night? Watch woman, what of the night? Yes, my sister. So we come from Pentecostal background, you know, and tell you we understand. We understand in the language of our fathers, right, Marcia? In the language of our fathers, we understand. Watch woman, what of the night? Isis, what you see outside? Mrs. Isis, did I miss your birth? Isis! Isis, Denise Isis Miller, I missed your birthday. I miss your birthday. Happy solar return to my beautiful, it's belated now, you know, my beautiful sister, Denise Isis Miller. I just tell her, I go look out her door and see what she's seeing. And she don't want to say, you missed my birthday. So she write back and say, it's overcast, it's calm, but it's eerie. I know, I can just imagine. We keep in touch. And my sister, I call you happy belated solar return. You know, so I shouldn't miss it because we did a Peter Tosh and we must know, so we must put those two things together. Those two things must put together, and we were down there. Hey, to Westmoreland and to the team. Wow, what a beautiful day in Westmoreland last week. What a beautiful day. It was great to be back at the Peter Tosh Memorial Gardens, Peter Tosh Mausoleum. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. Thank you so much for the embrace. Thank you so much for hosting us. Thank you to Nyambe and the Peter Tosh family, to Ryan and the team, Nicholas Evans. It was great, my brother, keeping company with you as usual. It was beautiful. Muta Baruka came in the last hour and then went on. Muta, it was good to book you up to see you again because a long time would have booked up in the same place. But it was great to keep company with you again, my brother. And to all those who came out last week, thank you so much. And to the team, the engineering team, the IT team, the production team, the social media team, and to the people of Westmoreland, thank you so much for a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful experience once again under the mango tree them and under the naseberry tree them right in our Westmoreland, Peter Tosh. Oh, we're watching, and I'm seeing an update for 8 o'clock bulletin. I'm probably behind, but they're posting late, and I'm just going with what so the local government of Jamaica, so ODPEM is reposting local government of Jamaica, which says, the local government website, which says, we have made preparations for the homeless. The team is out daily speaking with and imploring them to move into shelters. If you or anyone who you know is experiencing homelessness and needs shelter, visit or call the ones listed in your parish. All right, so visit or call the ones listed in your parish. So thank you, ODPEM, for reposting that, and thank you to the local government of Jamaica for posting that. And so you can go to those websites and you'll see those numbers. As a matter of fact, I gave some of those numbers this morning. All right, so now we have the bullet. Oh, but this is bulletin number 35. I thought we were going to be at bulletin number 36. No, I think we're at bulletin number 36. All right, I think it's there though. So let me find it. Turn towards Jamaica. Hurricane warning remains in effect. A hurricane warning remains in effect for Jamaica as Melissa has further strengthened into a Category 4 on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale. At 7 a.m., the center of Hurricane Melissa was located near latitude 16.3 degrees north. Let me turn this down. 16.3 degrees north. Longitude 76.4 degrees west. This is 179 kilometers or 112 miles south of Morant Point. It's really moving pretty slowly. Or 195 kilometers or 120 miles southeast of Kingston. Melissa continues to move slowly westward near 7 kilometers per hour. That's 5 miles per hour. It's picked up there, 5 miles per hour, because remember it was 1, then 2, then 3, then 1, and now 5. So that's a little increase in the speed. And this should continue today, followed by a turn to the north and northeast on Monday and Tuesday. On the forecast track, the center of Melissa is expected to move closer to Jamaica and over the island through Tuesday. Maximum sustained winds are near 220 kilometers per hour or 140 miles per hour, with higher gusts, making Melissa a Category 4 hurricane on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale. Further rapid intensification is expected through tonight, followed by fluctuations in intensity. Melissa is expected to be a major hurricane when making landfall in Jamaica Monday night or Tuesday morning. Hurricane force winds extend outward up to 35 kilometers or 25 miles from the center, and tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 280 kilometers or 175 miles. Hurricane Melissa is expected to produce rainfall amounts reaching 15 to 30 inches over parts of Jamaica in the next few days. All right, so I'm having just a bit of difficulty keeping this steady, or especially over eastern parishes. And we're seeing that already. And they expect with higher amounts over hilly terrain. Life-threatening flash floods and landslides are likely. As the hurricane moves closer, tropical storm force winds are expected to spread from southeastern sections of Jamaica this morning to the northwest. Hurricane conditions are expected by Monday. Life-threatening storm surge, accompanied by large and destructive waves, is likely along the south coast of Jamaica, late Monday through Tuesday morning, and could reach 9 to 13 feet above ground level, near and to the east of where the center of Melissa makes landfall. Small craft operators, including fisheries on the quays and banks, are strongly advised to remain in safe harbor until all warning messages have been lifted and wind and sea conditions have returned to normal. The Met Service continues to closely monitor the progress of Hurricane Melissa, and all interests are encouraged to pay special attention to further releases. The next bulletin on this system will be issued at 11 a.m. today. So a quick note, hurricane warning means that the following dangerous effects of a hurricane are expected to affect Jamaica within 36 hours or less. Dangerously high water, or a combination of dangerously high water and exceptionally high waves, even though winds expected may be less than hurricane force. Also, average winds, 4 miles per hour or 74 miles per hour or 64 knots or higher. I'm sorry, so I had just a little bit of difficulty reading this because I'm reading from my phone and just couldn't get it to remain steady. But at least you get an idea. This is the latest bulletin, and the next one will be at 11. Waltham Gardens, Washington Gardens, for flooding still. Brayton, Bridgeport, Cumberland, Edgewater, Ensom, Yorton, Golden Acres, Greater Portmore, Greendale, Hampton Green, Helshaw, Independent City. These are high-risk communities for flooding. Linstead, Louidersville, Nago Head, Old Harbour Bay, Old Harbour Road, Spanish Town, St. John's East, St. John's West, Troja, Waterford, Willardine. And for landslide, high-risk communities for landslide, Above Rocks, Ginger Ridge, and for flooding and landslide, Bogwalk and Glengarth. And let me go, because we do have some others. High-risk communities for flooding, and it's quite a bit. Let me go through. Albion Baptist. All right. So, okay. So Albion Baptist Church Corner, Dalby, Danvers Pen, Duckenfield, Duhaney Pen, Easington, 11 Miles, Landui, Lloyd's, License, Morant Bay, Poor Man's Corner, Port Morant, Seaforth, Wheelerfield, Yallas, York. High-risk communities for flooding and high-risk communities for landslide. North, Cedar Valley, Golden Grove, Hagley Gap, Hillside, Jones Pen, Port Morant, Richmond Vale, Seaforth, Somerset, Wheelerfield, Yallas, York. For flooding and landslide, Ramble, Trinityville. So that's what we did. St. Thomas and Kingston and St. Andrew. And before that we did St. Catherine and the KSA. So those are for those communities. I think we probably... Natisha, since you're producing, please send me the other parishes. All right. Please send me the other parishes. I'm putting on the tofu. Okay. Right, so the Observer reporting St. James, Montego Bay, Jamaica. Airports Limited, operators of the Sanks International Airport in Montego Bay, advises that subject to weather conditions, the airport will remain open up to 12 p.m. today to accommodate flight operations. So up to 12 p.m. today. So the airport will remain open to accommodate flight operations. The airport will then temporarily close at 12 p.m. to ensure safety during the storm's passage. And this is a press release from the Observer is citing a press release from MBJ. Passengers are being urged to contact their airlines directly for details on changes to schedule operations and to adjust their reservations as necessary and confirm their flight status before traveling to the airport. Airline information can be found on the MBJ website at mbjairport.com, and you can get more there. So following the hurricane, a comprehensive assessment, this is the Observer reporting, of the airport will be conducted to determine when it is safe to resume operations, MBJ said, noting that updates will be communicated promptly. So up till 12 p.m. today, the airport will remain open. Call before you go. And the Gleaner says, the Gleaner is reporting that Transport Minister Darrell Voss says the Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston will close late Saturday, that's yesterday, amid the threat of Tropical Storm Melissa. He said the final scheduled flight is expected to arrive at 8 p.m., but any delays will be accommodated before the closure. So that was yesterday. It's 12 o'clock for Montego Bay and yesterday for toward Jamaica in a composite satellite image. Reuters is reporting that it has developed an eye. It's moving westward. And, lost that. I'll come back to that in a minute. A 5 storm as it turns towards Jamaica. And once again, they're underscoring, as everyone is doing this, life-threatening flash flooding and landslides. Remember that there are warnings of power cuts, power outages, and some are even talking ahead about damage to infrastructure. So that is also in the forecast. Sea level surges as high as 13 feet above ground. And you know the buzzword now from government, from all the agencies, from just about all the forecasters: seek shelter now. Seek shelter now. Melissa is the 13th hurricane in this year's Atlantic season. The Atlantic hurricane season typically ends in November. A Category 5 hurricane is the strongest type with winds at least 157 miles per hour. So it's not going to go higher than Category 5. Okay, so thank you, my remote producer, Natisia Bohartsing. So the communities that are high-risk community, prone to flooding, landslides, or flooding and landslides. Let me go to Clarendon. All right, so in Clarendon, okay, I'll do that. All right, so Clarendon, high-risk communities for flooding, Inner Town, Alley, Ashley, Bushy Park, Denby, Four Paths, Frankfield, Freedom, Glenmuir, Hayes, Lionel Town, Longville Park, Longwood, Maypen, Milk River, Mitchelltown, Osborne Store, Pennant, Black River, Rocky Point, Salt River, Smithville, Thompsontown, Tollgate, Trout Hall. And that's Clarendon. In Clarendon, the high-risk communities for landslide. Let me just take a quick break and come back to that. No, let me just go through. For landslides, Rock River, Rocky Point, Salt River, Smithville, Thompsontown, Tollgate, and Trout Hall. And for flooding and landslide, Crooked River and Portland Cottage. A quick break and I'll come back with the other part. In the, the Observer, Manchester, Jamaica, firefighters had to be called in to get an occupant out of a Toyota Wish motor car following a two-vehicle crash on New Green Road in Mandeville on Sunday, that's today. The crash involved two Toyota Wish motor cars, including one operated as a taxi. A preliminary report from Mandeville Fire Station is that a call was received at 7:31. And then in St. Mary, high-risk community for flooding, Broadgate, Karen Hall, Castleton. And for landslide, Devon Pen, Freehill, Gale, Guys Hill, Highgate, Islington, Long Road, Lucky Hill, Orocabessa, Scotts Hall, and Wood Park. And for flooding and landslides, high-risk communities in St. Mary, Anotta Bay, Bailey's Vale, Camberwell, Clonmel, Dover, Galena, Jacks River, Martin, Port Maria, and Sunside. These communities for flooding, Adelphi, Arcadia, Bogue, Catadupa, Catherine Hall, Downtown Montego Bay, Garlands, Maroon Town, Moko, in St. James. All right. Landslide, high-risk communities for landslide in St. James. Comfort Hall, Dumfries, Reading, Rose Hall. And for flooding and landslide, Anchovy, Cambridge, and St. Leonard's. Hanover, high-risk communities for flooding, Cocoon Castle, Cascade, Chambers Pen, Chester Castle, Copse, Great Valley, Green Island, Hopewell, Kendall, Kingsvale, Lancers Bay, Lucy East, Mount Peto, Orange Bay, Pell River, Sandy Bay, Santoy, Success, Woodsville, and high-risk community for landslide in Hanover, Akenish, or Askenish, and for flooding and landslide in Hanover, March Town. Also taking clips and so on, so you can go there and listen to some of the clips. There's a lot of information on the ODPEM website. If you're not sure of shelters, etc., they're there at ODPEM also. Quite a few pages, so you can just go through to your parish, your area, and check for the information. Remember your prep checklist. ODPEM is reminding us: secure your home and business, protect important documents, stock water, food, and essentials, keep phones charged and stay updated, keep your safe room and evacuation. Know your safe room and evacuation plan. check on vulnerable neighbors. Yeah, I chuckled because I thought about the safe room, Well, know your safe space. If your roof goes, what do you do? Have a conversation with your neighbor and talk to each other. I remember in Gilbert when our roof went, good morning to the Wilson family in St. Mary, in Marlborough, Hopewell, St. Mary, because Brother Eve, Clover, when we were students in Gilbert, and I think so, we were students, 80. Donnie, I know you're listening in England. Were we students in 88? Anyway, so when our roof went, that's where we went. It was no question about where we would go. And even though our grandmother and the family were right beside us, but that was also a packed situation. We were the Wilsons just opened their arms, and then our grandmother roof went to us. I'm laughing now because Gilbert was quite something. One thing we learned in Gilbert, though, is that Jamaican people, we neighborly bad, and I hope that we haven't lost that. Let the circle be unbroken. I hope we haven't lost that neighborliness, that reaching out for the neighbor, taking care of each other, making sure, what the Wilsons did for us. And remember now, your roof gone says for more than one day. So we were there living out of the Wilsons' house, and Brother Ev and the family. Thank you so much for that. We recall that. We remember that. Take care to the family in all of Hopewell, Marlborough in St. Mary. We know we got a lot of rivers to cross. St. Mary, Joy was asking me the other day how we're doing and so on, and what about the flooding, and I was telling him that, in St. Mary, we got many rivers to cross. And sometimes you're crossing the rivers and you don't even know that you're crossing the rivers because the bridges are really high. So you don't know you're actually driving over a bridge. But every 10 minutes in St. Mary, if you reach White River and cross that bridge at White River, because that White River, that's a river right there that's separating St. Mary and St. Anne. It's just Peer River. No matter which direction you're going, it's just Peer River that. So I know that, St. Mary people used to, when rain fall, the river come down and the road block for a while, and you have to call politician and call NCC and call NAA. So we're kind of used to that, and we're used to working together. It's going to be a little bit different now, we understand. So still look out for each other. Doesn't matter which parish you're in. Look out for your neighbor. Take care of your neighbor. Look out for each other. And I know I normally have a little chit-chat with Mr. Big A, who is also crossing many rivers to come here. Big A, I'm a neighbor. So I know it's many rivers to cross. We're living in the same direction. Big A, how you do, sir? I know I'm going on because when I come this morning, I see the tree them fall down and so on and so forth. I have a little bag, by the way. I kind of packed my little bag this morning with my little things in because we've been covering hurricanes for so many years in media that we know the minute you hear that a hurricane is coming, you pack your little bag and you head for the station. That's how it works in media. And so I have my little bag packed with all my little stuff, toiletries, etc., that if I can't go home back, I have at least 7 days worth in a very small bag. The only thing I have enough for is food. And that means I have to go work out, But that's the point. And I know that most radio stations across Jamaica, this is how we're working today into next week. So to my colleagues in the media, some are going to be out on the road, some are going to be in studio, some are going to be on the microphone, and some are going to be in the news department, in the programming department, in the sport, just getting the stories and ensuring that the presenter on air can inform and have a proper conversation with you as we keep each other company. We hope that we're able to stay up. IRFM is solid, and push come to shove. I was having a conversation with one of the engineers recently, and I said, well, if a station goes down, how we stay. And he said, oh man, we're good, man. Then he started telling me, Mr. Wisdom, the different things that we can broadcast from. So that keep listening to IRI FM. You don't need to change your dial. We got you covered, and we hope to ride out the storm with you. So the IRI circle, the IRI family, our motto as we go through, well, this is me giving the motto now. Nobody not going to forget this motto, but it's me giving the motto, is let the circle be unbroken. As a big So, Mr. Big is in the house. Right, let me see if you have a little bag. Biggie, you good? You good? The knapsack, they don't look like it have nothing for stay for, like if you do a mighty mic shift. Okay. You can't do a mighty mic with that knapsack. Remember, mighty mic did about 3 days straight. So, you're not, I don't see you prepared for do a mighty mic.
No, I'm actually reminded of that, of those days when we had to camp up.
You went to camp, yeah?
I look here, I mean, with the sweater. The blanket.
So me look about use the blue bag there. No, Vicky, I'm very decent. Just that little blue bag you see there, right? If you can literally look and see that. If you look good, you see say blanket in there, sweater in there. You know, me good man, me good. But me not see you have nothing. Me not see nothing in your bag.
I am learning to function in a minimalist way.
Okay. Minimalist, he says. Okay. Okay, though. Because you have to try go home 2 o'clock. Other roads there, sir? When we come up. Okay. Any trees on the road, car? Limb did break down?
The greenery, the shrubbery though, have been, could you say, dismantled. You can see that they have been affected by wind, but they are not uprooted.
Okay.
They're just not in the usual flowing form. You can see that they have been affected.
And no rain right now?
No, rain was falling where it was falling.
Okay. So you're going through until 2?
Yes.
And possibly, who's supposed to relieve you? Matrix? Okay. Matrix a good, sir? Him not live far though. Him not live far.
No.
Yeah. No. So, what a thing, Biggie. You remember, Gilbert?
Yes.
Where were you? Grab the microphone.
Prior to.
Oh, I mean, pack up. You see, me have things though. You know, so let's pack up. You're not have nowhere to sit down. You're not nowhere for catch. Yeah, Gilbert was prior to.
Prior to Eric.
Oh yes, of course. But from what I'm hearing, it is it's a Gilbert thing.
Yes, the update, and unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to check this. You know, the most current.
No, we just checked it. We just read it. It came out at 7. The next one is going to be at 11.
Right.
It hasn't changed.
Well, I saw that one. It's no category 4.
Yeah, it's category 4 at 6 o'clock this morning. So it hasn't changed. It's the bulletin from 5, 6, 7, 8 up to now. It remains almost constant. Apart from though, it's moving instead of 3 miles per hour, it's 5 miles.
Per hour, right.
So that's the only
and
thing.
still in the direction of Jamaica. Well.
And then Gilbert hit Jamaica, if I remember right, at category 3.
I got 3.
And this is now 4. And it was all of Jamaica for Gilbert. So this is coming in the middle, according to this. Right. Take care of yourself.
Is it in terms of bandwidth, is it a smaller hurricane or
no, it sounds like it's...
We know it's
it's covering all of the island.
Yes. Okay.
Right? That is where all of the forecasts. So once it make landfall, it cover in each direction, all of the island.
Well, and I guess that's why both airports are closed.
Yes. Montego Bay is going to close at 12.
Right, and
Kingston already closed. Yeah.
You know, and that has, really disrupted my plans because I should have been out of here today.
Oh, you were traveling today? Yeah, then which shot you did I go, Master?
The Welcome to Jamaica cruise.
Oh.
It's still on.
It's still on?
Yeah, but quite a few of us are.
For those who... and it's not going to come in the water at all?
No, I guess they are rescheduling the route. I don't think they're coming to Jamaica again.
Okay. But, wow. Yes, that's true.
The cruise is still on. And several of us are grounded.
Yes, I can imagine.
But some of the some of the artists, who would have originated from overseas, like from a different direction.
Wow.
Some of the artists were able to leave yesterday.
So that's the cruise we're talking about, because Welcome to Jamaica.
The cruise is still on, but a lot
Yeah, it's still on.
because we can't let go.
Oh, wow. I wasn't even consciously aware. All right. So, begin. Let the circle be unbroken.
Yes.
Take care of your neighbor. Look out for each other. And we'll see you next week. Remember to check the ArdPem website and the social media sites, because there's a lot of information there. And they update pretty often. But ArdPem, you can do a little bit better. Make sure that, wait 2 hours before you put the updates, because I see that happening. Anyway, good work, ArdPem. It's the best one so far out there, right?
Do you think we are better prepared to handle the storm?
No. You mean Jamaica as a nation?
Jamaica.
No. You?
I guess the proof is going to be in the pudding to see how we handle it. But, for example, the utility companies say they are better able to handle it in terms of restoring power and so on.
But we've had hurricanes, Ivan, Beryl along the way. Also, we've had flood rains. We're not saying we're nobody better able to handle nothing. Remember we had flood rains too last month, Well, let's see. I don't think Jamaica is better able to handle, but we could handle ourselves as best as we can. And then for the utilities and so on, that's a whole other situation. Make sure you store water. And as I said earlier, remember to store water for your pet, because that's another thing is that we have our pets. You have pet, Big?
No.
Okay, so we have a dog, and you have to remember, you have to give your dog water. So remember to store water for your dog and for your cat. You have to look at cat food and thing and so on. And don't leave the pet them through home, like what we do in other hurricane. No cruelty to animals or people. Also another situation, ArdPem has on its social media pages the places for the homeless, right? The shelters for the homeless. So that's another thing. The numbers are there, and the dropping centers and calling and so on. Also, the shelters for the general public. That's about 52 pages. It's there too. But the thing about it is that you go to the area that concerns you. All right? So parish, then area, and you're able to find where the shelters are. Anyway, so all the best. We're riding the storm out together. On the other side of this, we'll talk about how we're surviving, what we need to do, and how we can do it together. But we've been here before. We'll ride it out, and we'll face this challenge. We're resilient people. That's how we are in Jamaica. We're also neighborly. So we help each other. We ride the storm out together, and we'll see you on the other side. Take care. Until next week, inshallah. Making way now for the Big A.